And you'd be amazed. Like I said something kind of, I got a little cocky today on Twitter. I just had because I was really thinking this, and this is like, oh my God, this is so crazy. I said, if you just have like literally just $60,000 to invest in stock options, I can show you how to quit your job in 30 minutes. And some of you have seen me do that. And really 30 minutes is an exaggeration. I could probably do it in more like 5, maybe 10, depending on where how up to speed you are on exactly what the process is. And like I sat down with that mother when we were at the stock option summit, and I was talking to a mom who has a 4-year-old son, and we were talking about, the future of her son, and she said, I'm going to invest in him for him, like in a way, kind of like doing what I do. I become kind of like a financial priest. How when people get around the priest, they start talking about, well, hey, Pastor Wilson, I'm gonna be in church on Sunday, or I know I missed the last 3 weeks, but I'll be back next. Like you kind of feel like you have to start talking about Jesus or God or something, right? So anyway, um, so a lot of times people will start talking about what they're doing with investing, right? Because they're like, I'm talking to Dr. Boyce, so I got to be like, more prim and proper. But if they really knew me, they would not. Don't If you ever see me, don't put on no facade for me. I ain't worth all that. But anyway, so she was talking about how she was investing for her son. So I told her about our $5 a day plan, right? And I was explaining, which again, and by the way, I know some of you know about it, but I have to repeat it because there are new people that are coming in every day. And also, I believe repetition is a great way to drill things into our subconscious and drill things into our habits and drill things into our culture. So it's on blackwealthmasterplan.com. That's blackwealthmasterplan.com, and it's free. And I explained, I said, yeah, okay. So if you do $5 a day for your kid, then by the time they're 10, they have roughly 29,000 liquid based on the history of the stock market. By the time they're 20, they have 100,000. By the time they're 30, they have close to a quarter million, etc. And it doesn't seem that way, but the stock market has this magical way of growing. It's like planting seeds in your backyard, and you're amazed that you got these big tomatoes, but you've been planting seeds, you've been watering them consistently, so something is going to grow. All right. And then I said, and then I think she told me she was going to get a car. And I said, well, what would you spend on a car note? She said $600. I said, okay, well, if you, instead of doing $5 a day, which is 150 a month, if you just 600 a month, because I think I asked her a stupid question like, well, you love your son as much as you love your car, right? And she said, oh, more than I love my car, more than I love my car. I said, okay, great. So how about if you did a matching plan where for every dollar you put toward the car dealer, you also put a dollar toward your son. So you put $600 toward the Mercedes you want to get, and then you put $600 a month toward this investment fund for your child. To me, this is a freedom fund. This is a freedom fund because if you do what I tell you, your son will never have to work for anybody. He'll never come home complaining about how bad massa is treating him. He'll never experience all the financial anxiety and trauma that so many of us experience by going to work every day. Because the number one trauma source for Black people, in case you don't know, I don't think it's police shootings. Most of you don't see cops every single day. It's not, some of this other stuff that's out here. It's getting up and going to work every day because that's the one thing you do every day that just pisses you off, right? Don't get me wrong. You meet the wrong cop, you meet a Mark Furman on the street, and you just, you're in a bad situation. Maybe you might get a bullet or something. That's a possibility. That happens. It's real, etc. But I don't know as many Black people who've been shot by the cops as I know Black people who hate their boss and hate their job, right? I don't know as many Black people who've been, in horrible arrest situations, have been beaten upside the head with a billy club, as I do Black people who have went to school, busted their butts, worked hard for 20 or 30 years, and did everything right, and still didn't get the promotion, or sat there and watched a white person get something that they deserved, right? So it's very stressful, very frustrating. It angers us, right? There's a really angry Black, like middle class and working class, as a result of this unspoken, unaddressed racism. So here's the deal. I said, look, so the Freedom Fund for your kid, you put 600 a month in, which is 4 times that amount. That means after 10 years, instead of 29,000, he has roughly over about 120. After 20 years, instead of 100,000, you got 400,000. 30 years, instead of a quarter million, you got close to a million. But give or take a few thousand, right? The numbers are not precise. You cannot predict what the stock market is going to do. So there are no guarantees. However, history shows that a parent who has done this for their child is going to have a child that's going to have plenty of money. So now your child is close to 30, and he's now guess what? Pay attention now. Look at what's changed in his life. Look at how many Black men. Think about how many men you know or that you've seen that were 28, 29 years old and did not get married. Why? Well, why? Give me a reason why a lot of men won't get married. I mean, I know people say because they're scared. No, no, no. A lot of men won't get married because they don't have enough what? They don't feel what? Financially secure. They don't have enough money. They don't feel this. I haven't made it. I'm still trying to get my record deal, and one day I'm gonna be, I'm gonna make it. One day I'm gonna get into the league, and I'm playing. But seriously, or just maybe I'm not satisfied with the job I have, or whatever, right? So I don't have enough savings, and I'm trying to take care of myself. How can I take care of two or three other people? Well, your son doesn't go through that. Your son is 28. He's got at least $500,000 to $1 million liquid in the bank account.